Welcome to this installment of In the Driver's Seat, where we take a few minutes to have a casual conversation with an industry expert on topics and emerging technology that affect today's technicians and shop owners. Today, we're joined by Kim Cottle, President and CEO of Associated Equipment. Kim has been leading the charge in developing tools and technologies to help technicians keep up with the demands of today's vehicles. Everything from reliable battery service to maintaining stable power during programming and calibrations. With the complexity of modern electronics and the growth of ADAS systems, consistent power isn't just a convenience anymore. It's absolutely critical. Kim brings a wealth of experience and insight into what shops need to know about power management now and what's coming next. So, Kim, thanks for joining today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Pleasure is all ours. I mean, this is an extremely important topic just for the simple fact that, with the emerging technology and electrification of everything, the power demands on vehicles during all the system or all the updates and programming and calibrations is so critical. So, I mean, I appreciate you taking time and joining us today. So I'm going to start out by asking pretty much that. Today's vehicles are more complex than ever. Sensitive electronics, programming, ADAS, strict OE procedures to ensure successful updates and repair of those systems. From your perspective, how has the evolution changed the role of shops' power supply and battery service equipment?
Well, what we found is, we work a lot with the battery manufacturers, and all of the battery manufacturers have a slightly different charging profile that they want for their products. So layer on top of that, the vehicle manufacturers, which have their computer systems, all of their control systems within their electronics, a lot of which require power and a stable power supply while there's vehicle reflash going on or they're reprogramming those computer modules. So those take the standard battery charger to the next level where you still need to charge that 12-volt battery. And those batteries can come in a lot of different forms now. We have AGM, we've enhanced flooded batteries, start-stop batteries, but we still have a lot of the standard lead acid batteries. So what we've found is we've tried to create products that support all battery types, as well as we work very closely with the OEs, and we're the only US manufacturer that actually has products approved by the OEs that can be used in shops to service vehicles that are approved with the power requirements that are needed to have clean power as well as a long-lasting power supply during what are extended vehicle diagnostic procedures or reflash.
No, and that's huge. And it's something that, technicians need to be more and more keyed in on. I mean, J2534 has been around forever, but it's, so much, now evolves around ADAS and calibrations with that. And people don't think about, some of the time it takes to do these calibrations and the amount of draw and demand that's on that electrical system during these calibrations. If a technician isn't keeping that front of mind, I mean, they could lose power pretty quickly while they're trying to do that. So, I mean, you talked really, you got in depth on that, but I just want to expand a little bit more. Many shops, think about battery replacement or battery simply as testing or replacing the battery itself, right? That's how they kind of segment battery service. But there's also the issue of maintaining constant power supply through things like, module programming and calibrations. And can you go through and talk about why stability is so critical in those scenarios?
So basically, it's like anytime your computer is reprogramming a module, you want to hold a particular current or voltage for a certain period of time so that the transfer of information is not corrupted. And that's why it's really important to keep a stable power supply, which is a little bit different than what you would have with your standard battery charger, when sometimes those voltages fluctuate up and down, as well as the amperages. So what we recommend and what the vehicle manufacturers recommend is that you have a programmable power supply that allows you to put the correct voltage and amperage for your vehicle type and for the type of module that you're programming so that you have the safest possible experience and you don't have the horror show that people hear every once in a while, which is I just bricked a module. So that is one of the things that we've seen. And also it takes the batteries from your standard 12-volt battery to also supporting the whole electrical system during a reflash procedure, We even found that there are vehicles where now, in order for the brake calipers to be held open, you have to have constant current power supply. That wasn't something in the future, right? Brakes had nothing to do with the electrical system back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that stuff is, and again, and if a technician isn't keeping on top of it, isn't reading service information, keeping ahead of industry trends, they're not, something like this is going to show up. They're not going to have the equipment to be able to service these vehicles. So, I mean, it's extremely important. So, from there, I mean, obviously that's a challenge, but, you know, do you have any other, can you think of any other common challenges that a technician will face when it comes to keeping vehicles powered properly during these critical procedures? And like, how, what equipment can they use to overcome them then? Do you have some, obviously associated, you guys manufacture a ton of different products. What do you
Right.
have specifically for some of these vehicles to do that?
So we have a wide range of telematic products, and we've been creating power supply modules since they came out with well, we've started doing it with the 99 Prius, but we came out in 2010 with the Grand Cherokee. They also had a need for a long-standing power supply through that. We have found that as we've been out in the market, all of the different battery types, whether it's HEM or enhanced flooded, standard lead acid, needs a different voltage or current, the different makes and models. So every time we would tweak our product, either based on an OEM recommendation or based on technician feedback, we would put all of that into the products for the future. And we finally came up with an IBC 6008, and that product is one that is programmable both for voltage and current for multiple battery types, as well as for partial charge, as well as a power supply. So it allows the technician to do a wide range of vehicles from the high-end imports to your standard domestic vehicles, light duty trucks as well.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I mean, it's shop equipment is such an important part of the industry. And, shops today need to keep equipment that not only meets the technical requirements of the modern vehicle, but also have it practically and user friendly for technicians. So, you kind of went into it a little bit, but do you mind sharing any more detail of how Associated Equipment approaches that balance?
Well, a lot of what we've found is, is again listening to what the technician feedback is. We make our product and engineer our product here in St. Louis, Missouri. So it makes it easy for us to modify our products based on what the technicians need. We had a fleet come to us at one point and said, hey, we really would like to have longer DC leads so that when the vehicle is up on the rack, that we can be charging the battery while we're doing an oil change or doing other preventive maintenance procedures. They built that into their field procedures, and basically we created a product specifically for them for their needs in their fleet. That's one of the things that we like to specialize as a company is we know that it's not a one size fits all situation. And our shops know that. Our shops know that they have to be able to service, your high-end imports, and you have to be able to service other more basic vehicles as well. And so being able to provide tools to them that service that wide range without having to invest in a bunch of different individual tools. Other things that we found where there's, charge and retest, we would have situations where battery voltage needs to be at a certain level for the chargers to see that there's a battery on the end. Technicians told us we don't like having to charge these separately and then come back and retest the battery. That takes time. That's inconvenient for me. So we designed and implemented a dead battery override. It basically puts a surface charge on the battery, so it allows the battery charger to pick up the battery and it'll start testing it in the first 15 minutes. It'll test it 4 times. And if that battery won't take a charge, then our chargers will then flash at the technician and say, hey, don't bother charging this battery anymore. Sell your customer a new battery, save yourself time and money. On the other side of it, it will also test it the first 4 times. If it will take a charge, it will then go on and charge the battery. And at 80% state of charge, it'll tell the technician, hey, if you're in a hurry, customer's in a hurry, you can take it off and they can drive home and the alternator will top off the battery. Otherwise, it'll take it to 100% state of charge and then basically stop charging at that point. We basically made all of our chargers compliant to DOE standard so that our chargers are energy efficient. And one of the things that we have is we're a highly recyclable product. All of our products are made of steel, aluminum, and copper. So they're recyclable, just like lead acid batteries are recyclable in our market. Um, One of the things that we also do is we provide a lot of service after the sale and service and repair parts. We have products that have been in the field for 40 years. We have the longest warranties in the market, but we also provide repair parts for things like knobs and switches that just happen to break off because wrenches get dropped, AC cords get run over by things. These are all things that we provide because we're a US manufacturer. And I think for technicians, they really want that piece of equipment. They know that they can keep, maintain, and service for years to come to help service, in the end, what they're trying to do, which is fix vehicles and get them back on the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is, as a former technician, there's nothing more frustrating than being in a shop environment or any environment where you can't get repair parts for the piece of equipment that you're using. So
100%.
that is, that's refreshing to hear, because that is a huge piece of frustration, I know, for not just shop owners but technicians themselves. And hey, I like this piece of equipment, I want to keep it. It's just got a busted knob. Can I fix the knob and put it back into service? So that's awesome. That's a great message to have out there. It really is. So shifting gears a little bit, looking into the future, as vehicles, that continue to evolve with continued electrification on the horizon, what do you see as the next big challenge for shops when it comes to power management? And how can shops and technicians really start preparing now?
Well, I think that there's a lot of movement towards obviously having the capability to reflash at higher powers for longer periods of time. I know that they're going to be looking at for EVs having shop level EV chargers that are more efficient in the future. So we see probably some of the circuitry coming into the shop may be adjusting to accommodate some of that power need and power change. A lot of those would be similar to what people are using currently for their welders, but they probably are going to need another aspect in there, another piece of power in there so that they can use the welder and or some of these battery chargers for these electrified vehicles. Um, the sustained power is also important for when you're doing those ADAS calibrations as well. Some of those things are taking more time. But we're seeing even with ADAS, right? You see a lot more change in the shops where you needed more space, and they've been able to refine the calibration techniques to allow them to do proper calibrations in smaller square footage areas. So I see that evolution where chargers are going to get more efficient as we move forward into the future as well. And battery
That's
technology is going to change.
absolutely. I mean, you see it changing already. So no, that's insightful, because it's trying to keep on top of this stuff. I can't imagine, spinning wrenches every day for pay, or being a shop owner having to, take in all this information, stay on top of all this stuff. I mean, it's mind-boggling. So
Yeah.
it's really great that, there's companies out there like yourselves really making it easier for technicians, shop owners to be forward thinking, to have the right equipment on site when they start servicing these vehicles. So, you know, Kim, again, thank you for your time and insights. I really appreciate it. Maintaining power is no longer optional. It's vital for, everything from battery placement to programming ADAS, J2534, et cetera, right? This is an important but all too often looked when it comes to, these programs and calibrations. So, I personally hate to see calibrations fail, like we talked about, earlier, and even worse, having a technician break or brick a very expensive module. So any way we can help avoidable mistakes is greatly appreciated in the industry. So again, thank you. And for everybody at home, thanks for watching. Your support is tremendously appreciated. So as always, thanks for watching.
Thanks, Eric.